Hello everyone, not Jackie Dean here again. So we're here at Super Light Battle. Jackie, as you can see, trying to fix the Super. He's not bothered with my Subaru bullshit. So here's me taking over the Time Attack Rival series, and I'm presenting you Ryan. Hi Ryan.
Hi.
And I'll say like a Japanese racing legend of a Subaru.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I'm not sure how many people, how many of our followers actually cares about Subaru. But this is one of those kind of like old JDM hot version Super Taikyu cover car, I would almost say. So,
we believe it's it was built for 2004 Super Taikyu as a blob-eye originally. They raced it in 04, and in 05 they changed it to the Hawkeye front end, and they won the Super Taikyu series that year in its class ST2. There's a hotly contention series with the Evos fighting against the Subarus, and the Evos would do a little bit faster lap times. Yeah. But ironically, the Subarus were more efficient with fuel and were able to actually dominate the series.
So for people who doesn't know, Super Taikyu is like endurance series.
Yeah, super endurance.
Yeah, it's literally like Super Taikyu means super endurance in Japanese, and this is one of the cars that dominated years of competition.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure all the Super guys have seen this car, or at least aware of this car in their Naziak or whatever online research they've been doing.
Absolutely.
And I'm just glad that somebody's brought the car out and revived it from its hibernation state and running with us again. Doing really well this weekend too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I beat my old car, which is more purpose-built for Time Attack's previous lap time by almost 4 seconds.
So let's go over the car.
Absolutely.
Because you probably know, because you had a chance to check over the car.
Yeah, kind of
prep the car,
comb
make
through it a little bit.
Yeah. So engine. Surprisingly stock, I would say.
Yeah, it's as far as we can tell, it's a stock EJ 207, a version 8 207, and they have a couple to a version 9 Spec C, close ratio 6-speed transmission.
Also, it's still OE 6-speed.
An OE 6-speed. Yep, no fancy.
So does the Spec C has a different gear ratio, or is it the same as it's
JDM? It has it's this JDM ratio, but this version 9 goes to the 1.1 to 1 final drive.
Right, because the 3545 final.
Right,
rear.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep. And so they did it for reliability, help slow driveline speeds down, reduction in parasitic loss, that kind of thing. So engine and package and stuff and drivetrain wise, it's actually super stock. I mean, you see it's a stock intercooler, stock injectors. It's running a Prova Eiffel ECU. It's
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's tuned on 100 octane.
Oh, is it?
We're running it on 104 because it's 2021 now, so that seems to be what's easy to come across. But it's got some cool parts on it from the factory, and then some of the stuff we had to actually change for this weekend because it has literally been sitting for the past 15 years.
Yeah. So you had to change out, most of the cooling system?
Yeah, we had to.
Is gunk in it?
Yeah, the had a really nice ARC radiator system that had the trans cooler built into it, had an oil cooler built into it. It's just this gorgeous piece, Wiggins clamps and all kinds of fancy connections. It was literally full of sediment, and you can feel it weighs 20-25 pounds, just a nice aluminum radiator, and if you caught you off guard, you pull your back, trying to pick it up. So these are some of my spare parts for my blue car that I travel on the road with, and we just tossed it all on here with some stock fans to actually do this event this weekend.
Then you guys had to do something about the fuel cell. Yeah. You'll get back to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Engine-wise, I mean, it's a 207.
Yeah.
If you can see, still has a factory header, but it's a JDM header, so it's twin scroll eco, so it sounds nice.
Yeah. 36.
To some people, it sounds terrible, but I like Ecolane twin scroll. I think it's more natural that way.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Factory earbox, so
Yeah, you got that drop-in panel paper filter in there, and out here laying some. Like I said, it's so funny that this car is as quick as it is and as good as it is, and it's not really built for this short burst racing.
Yeah, it can do 229 with you behind the wheel, all day long.
Yeah.
Without braking everything.
Yeah, super stock.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got fun stuff like the S204, I believe, turbo inlet.
I was freaking out to see that because Jackie was like, "What the fuck was that?" That's why Jackie's not here, by the way. He literally just said he's not interested in Subaru. So yeah, and other things I found very interesting, the front bumper.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like a full carbon piece. By the way, it's full carbon if you see here. It's like and the top grip is actually fully shut.
Yeah.
So it's only the bottom.
And it actually goes, and you can see that it's actually pipes almost all the way back up to the radiator support.
So it's like the Supra.
Yeah, channeled.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
And it's super. I mean, the carbon is just—it's actually really rigid. It seems to be relatively, robust, but it's definitely had its abuse.
Fitment's pretty good. Like you see, like around the headlight and everything. Fitment's really, really good.
We did add some, those quick release kits because literally everything that they had on it was just tiny M4 screws holding it in, and getting underneath the car without having the air jacks functioning currently is just such a pain in the butt. Yeah. And now we can take the bumper off so we can even jack it up. There's not a whole lot underneath the jack tube.
So this is like I guess it's the port for the air
jack?
Yeah,
for the air jacks, yeah. Front and rear port. We've only had the car for about 6 weeks, so we haven't actually been able to put everything together yet to actually make sure they function and stuff. So something that we're definitely excited about, of course. But this is a catch can, actually.
Wow.
So
was a washer cap.
Was
it from Japan too?
Yeah, absolutely. This is how
God.
it was.
Wow. And then you have then you look at the hood.
Oh,
it's like carbon. It's actually 2-layer, but has like very nice ducting built into it that kind of channels air into the factory intercooler, which is surprising.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty low profile too. Like when you look at the scoop and stuff like that. I mean, from a reduction and drag standpoint versus what these things typically had.
Like say that's your OE, by the way. So this is your typical OE. You can see, I feel like get down, you can't even see the intercooler. But if you get down to the same height on this car, you can actually see the intercooler. I'm not sure how good this is picking up, but you can, I think this line is just a bit lower.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like it's catching way more air without actually increasing the whole cross-section area.
I believe, I'm sure it helps with visibility, reduction in drag, like all that kind of fun stuff too. Plus there's intercooler sprayers in there, which is super nice. I mean, it's got an auto setting, and when you're driving it, the IATs come up to a certain point, then it starts spraying those crazy guys.
Does it have like the big ass spec-y tank?
Big ass tank, yeah, it does. It takes like 3 gallons too, and it's so hard to get to. So we're going filling in from the inside into the trunk from the passenger cabin. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, engines, people. You don't need your fully built engine. You just need to do it right.
This is how you make reliable Subarus, I'm told. Stock ones.
Stock ones, exactly. Wheels.
Yeah, wheels are the
RCT4 that everybody loves and nobody can buy.
Yeah.
With huge Brembo behind the front.
345 rotors, 345 mil rotors. They're an endurance caliper that take 26 millimeter thick pads. So,
beefy pads.
Yeah, big beefy boys.
Probably lasted like 2 seasons.
Yeah, probably. I told Danny at G-Log that these are gonna be the last pads I need to buy for this car because they're so big.
Yeah.
But you can see we definitely got some use out of it. We had these wheels nice and clean yesterday, and
it's actually still reasonable.
It films well. Well, just like me and you. Photogenic.
Yes.
But I mean, in the suspension wise, it's got, I believe it's an ORS coilover setup, and it's I looked into.
I don't even know.
They're like a German, dirt bike shock company.
I never even heard of that.
Yeah.
That's
the best I can find out.
Be something like Endless or some like JDM AF brand in it.
That's what it looks like. It's in there. They're inverted, so that's JDM, right? Inverted shocks. It looks like it's like a standard tube that they use, and then they literally just bolted on and built like whatever end links that they needed to connect to a hub. So it looks kind of like a generic setup. Big and beefy though. I mean, like big old.
Does it have like external reservoir?
It does, and they're way up inside the shock towers. They're super impossible to get to with the wheel on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You definitely have to commit to your shock setup right away.
Yeah, and then the rear brake is actually OE, if you can still see it.
Yep. The captivated lug nuts is pretty cool. Like literally they have it set up, and you can see that it's marked on the rotor, so you don't even have to barely look at it, and you can throw the wheel on. And the lug nuts are there already, and they stay in, and you literally just hit them with the gun, and they're on. It's super cool. It's like so low effort, super fun. Yeah, when you're swapping wheels and tires, I mean any kind of racing you're doing where pit times are an aspect of your driving, that's time savers
Yes.
make time. So
Yes, and also one big surprise for me is I always assume, right? If you can see it, this car is like super duper low. Like it's like slam. Like the wheels are tucked in.
yeah, lots of camber.
Yeah, but it's actually like OE knuckle
Yeah.
and cross member in it.
Yep.
I always thought the car had some crazy like tubular one-off stuff in it, but it's actually all OE. I don't know, JDM wizardry.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
so,
Let me know once you figure it out. Probably want to
we've
learn
talked
something
about
from
just
that.
like getting the two cross members together, like from my other GD and this one, and
compare
just
them,
yeah,
maybe they
see.
did something that we didn't even.
Yeah.
It's not easy to spot. It's
Yeah.
possible. It's possible.
I mean, it's even like factory control arms,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like the aluminum control arms. They do have big, giant ball joints on them,
Yeah,
you know, but
this is
it's,
your
it's-
bag STI has nothing on this one, Cody. If you know what I'm talking about.
The I mean, it's so low that they do have the frame like notched for the axles, so the axles have room to actually
Yeah,
travel
yeah.
up inside of there.
So I guess
Stock
that's
sway bars, front and
yeah,
rear.
front and rear.
Yeah, stock sway bars front
You
and
know
rear.
spring rate on those?
The springs are 18K up front, 14K in the rear. So pretty stiff in the front. I
Pretty
mean,
stiff.
the car is definitely stiff out here. You can feel it, and really trying to huck it in and stuff. It's not as forgiving like on some of these tracks, I would imagine, as they are on smoother tracks. Or even
was it
when I'm
on, like,
driving.
PBR with a big bump?
It's actually way more composed than I thought it would
Oh,
be.
really?
But it doesn't feel like it's jumping, which is nice. But I barely have gotten to drive on it. So
Interior.
yeah.
This is when I realized this is probably originally wasn't a Hawkeye, because if you know your Subaru, this is like bug guy, the early Boabai stuff. Of course, you know, still on the wrong side or the right side, depends on how you look at it.
That's right.
Yeah, so, you know, ear jacks.
Yeah.
And this is what I found interesting, is just, you know, this is gonna sell like for like $1 million on Nasia, because you got the
This is how we're
camp
gonna.
window.
This is how we're gonna finance the cage. The
Yeah, so
cage
every time you
replacement.
need money to run the program, just all right, one door car for sale, and that's gonna fund your entire year program, easy. Yeah, well,
Yeah, we got that. You see that cute serial port hanging down there? That's
Yeah.
for I'm assuming connecting some EC.
I don't
some
even know.
laptop.
I don't even know when it was the last time I saw something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We tried to download the program to actually connect to the Lapcom.
Does it even
and
still run on Windows 10?
it doesn't even pull up, like it's a dead end link, you know, and I'm not even surprised. Now we did add true fire suppression because this whole thing was set up with just a fire extinguisher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that
Oh,
fire
so
ex-
you guys just added the
Yeah.
fire extinguisher.
We just added, yeah,
Like
the
that.
suppression.
Ah, yeah.
Mhm.
Like some JDM old school like dash. I don't even know brand or name of. Have you guys figure out what that is?
It's Lapcom is the name of the company.
Okay, I've never seen one of
Yeah.
these before.
Lapcom, and that's all we know. We added the AFR because we literally don't know anything about
Just
like
want to make
how
sure
it's
this is
tuned.
running
Yeah,
healthy on the
Yeah.
different fuel.
pick
You know,
up
'cause
stuff, you
yeah.
know, and watch trends, and
Seems to be doing well.
yeah, it's been really happy. Shoots big old fireballs, I'm told. So
Yeah, well, actually, nothing too crazy on the inside.
other than the cage work,
The cage is. I think I've seen worse Japanese cage. I've seen a lot worse Japanese cage, but this is like, I mean, Super Taikyu is official. It's a pretty official and big racing series back
Nice.
then, so I guess it's one of the reasons why this car, you know, it's also, you know, JDM AS stitch weld everywhere.
yeah, everywhere. Like even
Everywhere.
things that you wouldn't even think would need it.
Like everywhere.
every panel that's overlapped is stitch welded. Even the seat brackets are stitch welded.
Oh, you don't need reinforcement to the car, just know.
So yeah, it's a good time. And then you see funny stuff like this is where the ECUs are at now, and it's like this thing is just barely held together, you know. And like you were talking about, like the stack on stack on stack stuff. So
As we all know, the more box you stack, the better the car
yeah,
runs.
that's right. Yep. Of course, we're running Advance for this event, so that's not the normal tire that they competed on. They had Dunlop slicks. So these tires, I mean, we are in 2021, so
These tires are probably like
better than
about
2005.
as good or even better than
Yeah.
their slick back then.
And I mean, it is a wild ride too. It really is.
And then we get to the back. Like, what kind of bullshit wing is this? Like, if you can see, it's like tiny. It's like the width of my hand. Is this wing? Is it like a one-off wing, as far as you know, or?
I think Prova. What we were finding, it looks like Prova used to make these wings, so they had it on. They had it on their bug eye that they had built. They had it on obviously the blob eye in this car, and there's a couple out there in circulation. You see them on Craigslist, or not Craigslist, eBay, where people are trying to sell them for like $1,500. There's really nothing to it. I mean, you can see how small
It's not even
the contact
adjustable.
of the stanchion is. It's not adjustable.
Also, you just see those like small Easter eggs. Oh, no.
Yeah,
So
but it's
cool.
really, it's actually pretty rigid, which is incredible. Considering.
How is this like mounted to the inside?
It's just got, we could pop up the truck now. This is the sad part. In case we don't have all,
yeah, right.
we don't have all the fun fueling in there.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, up in here you can see that it's
Oh,
like
that's
just,
it?
Yeah, washers and thick aluminum plates.
Oh well, I might have my guys fabbing the wing mount right now as we speak. Just to
Oh
take
yeah,
notes
a little
on this.
cheating, the little notes.
Yeah,
And of course we had with the fuel cell that used to be in here is about 40 gallons.
empty.
And it took this whole entire thing up. It had 4 fuel pumps, and inside and we had to take the fuel cell apart and stuff to figure out what was wrong with it. But in the bladder, there's 2 like custom-made search tanks built into the fuel cell. So I mean, the work that they put into making sure that this thing always had proper fueling was like huge, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see like even like the funny stuff that stitch welded. You
Oh
know,
wow! Like, why would you even
yeah,
need to stitch
or
weld
even
that?
like the body panels up against the
Like, yeah, I can feel the rigidness from my quarter panel. Spexy tank.
yeah.
It is a pain in the ass to fill though, if you think about it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so we come in with a funnel through the door over there, through the little tiny hole on this side. Just drop the funnel in and articulate.
Oh wait, you can get it from. Oh, yeah, that's
Kind
right.
of,
You
yeah.
you can kind of get it from the inside if you
Yeah.
see it there.
That's what we were doing, going through the side and filling into it.
Oh, this was the actually, you know. So this was, as far as I know, the original fuel port for the fuel cell.
Yeah.
Door hinge
Yeah.
and Velcro.
Yeah. And then the fiberglass reinforced.
Yeah, fiberglass
something.
reinforced. So literally, they just like pop it open.
Uh-huh.
This was all with an old like
Yeah,
fill
the
in,
the
and
dual
then-
ATA.
Yeah, it's like door hinge and just done.
Go.
Lightweight AF.
Yep, lightweight. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why it had to be covered, but you can see in some of the old pictures I have where they were even covering, before they had the door, they were covering it with yellow like duct tape. So I don't know what, maybe there's some kind of ruling or something, but that was definitely an after the fact that they added.
That's probably difficult, right?
Yeah, that's a diff cooler, yep.
Yeah. Is it still like the factory diff casing, like just the R180?
Yeah, it's an R180 with an ARC pump that circulates it. It's even got like a little tiny cute little baby oil filter up there.
Oh, damn.
And it's isolated, and it's super cool. It feels like it's just an AP Surtrack or some kind of Torsen diff in it right now, which is one of the few things I really want to change in the car. Like with as much
It just
grip,
doesn't lock.
right? Yeah,
throttle.
with as much grip as this car's really got, like it kind of wants to buck because it's constantly catching and slipping and catching and slipping. Something a little bit that hooks up more, even like an STI diff, you know, STI clutch type would be totally fine for this car.
Yeah.
Like my old diff I used to have.
Yeah.
Some titanium dual exhaust.
I didn't even know how to do exhaust. Well, they actually like the bracket they build is actually super cool.
Yeah, I mean
kinda-
it's got and it's even got like the cable in case it falls, it gets cut. Like,
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
yeah, just little extra stuff that they have, you know, the little touches. I would never do that, but
No.
I also would never. I didn't think a Subaru could drive for 24 hours straight either.
Nobody believed that.
Simple aero. I mean, it's probably beneficial at this track not to have, you know, Jackie Ding aero in a car that makes.
Oh well, we are
You know,
dealing
Ford Fiesta
actively
power.
dealing with that problem as we speak.
Yeah. But yeah, super simple car. Really simple car.
29. You think you got more in it tomorrow?
I think it's got 28s for sure. Yeah. Yeah,
It's
we,
like basically like 300 something horsepower.
they say it's 340 at the crank, but we're gonna dyno it and weigh it and see what it officially weighs.
Oh, you guys haven't weighed it because
No.
that was the one thing I was gonna ask.
Yeah, they say so. They were saying it's 2,650 pounds, 340 brake horsepower. So it feels about it feels about right, you know. So we'll get it dynoed and see and weigh it at the same time and try and get it out there. Because like, what does it take for a Subaru? Like, why is it run 29s, you know, or why is it gonna run 26s tomorrow? Just kidding. Yeah, I don't think I am holding back some, and I think a part of it's like I don't want to break it, I don't want to wreck it, and we're gonna do some fun
But
stuff
if you
with
look
it,
at the
so-
bright side, because
Yep.
how simple this
Right.
car is,
Yep.
finding parts is actually won't be
Yep.
as difficult as
Yeah.
you expect.
I mean, stock axles,
Yeah,
stock
yeah,
hubs,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, which is nice, and we did bring extra axles because I think everybody with a Subaru needs to be bringing axles to events.
I never.
Oh my gosh.
I'm lucky.
I broke an axle at Road Atlanta, and literally right off the start line, and I just had to sit there like a chump as everybody got to have fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that sucks.
But yeah, it is. It's fun though.
Yeah. But I think this car is, can I say, like the definition of when less is more?
Yeah. I
Like
could
simplicity, you know, just everything done.
Yeah.
Minimal but proper. Electronics is mostly stock.
Yeah,
Like
yep,
factory
absolutely.
DC/CD control. Suspension beside the coilover, like as far as I can tell, it's all stock.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy when
Yeah.
when you think about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it makes me think, Alex, that I've been doing it all wrong this whole time.
that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, well, if you find out more interesting stuff, please send it to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would be very curious to, like, as you discover more
Yeah.
in this car and later. But you know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, even people aren't into Subarus necessarily, like into RC and into
Yeah.
like all kinds of different
Yeah,
aspects
if
of
you're
motorsports.
interested in Subaru, you definitely seen this car at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much for joining
Yeah,
us.
absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in.
All right. See you next time.